and salutations, my dearest friends. My name is Samantha, and today we're going to be reading some novellas on Kindle Unlimited. Hello, how are you? Welcome back to my channel. I really wanted to just read some novellas, and that's what we're gonna do. It's kind of another reading vlog. I started a series on my channel where I am going to be reading different genres and different types of books on Kindle Unlimited, really just so I can make use of the subscription I pay for. I wasn't really planning on filming today, so my hair is wet because I just washed it and I didn't really feel like heat styling it or anything, so let's just ignore that. I just got a Kindle and it's pretty life-changing. I've always really enjoyed ebooks, but like this just makes it so easy for me to read a little bit before bed. I always like different novellas recommended to me by Kindle and by Amazon based on what I've previously read. So we're just gonna kind of go off of that. I know that Jessica Cain has 2 novellas out right now that I just need to read because I love Jessica Cain and I will read anything she writes. The first one is Making Their Vows, which is kind of like an opposites attract novella. The other one is Daring the Doctor, which is another age gap romance. Jessica Cain always does age gap romances really well. One is an age gap romance between a aspiring med student and a doctor who's like really well renowned. I think he like even did surgery on the president in this book or something like that. So he's kind of a big deal and he's like instantly infatuated with her and kind of wants to be like her sugar daddy. I think he tries to pay like her medical school bills. We'll see. Lovely ladies on BookTube just recently did a Mafia readathon, and it made me realize like I haven't really read that many Mafia books. Even though that readathon is done, I did pick a Mafia book to read in this video just so I can like read more Mafia books, and it's called Raising Up Trouble by Jenna Rose. Another age gap romance, and this one is particularly taboo because I believe our hero was the heroine's like guardian for a couple of years. Her parents passed away. She was entrusted in this like ex-mob boss bad guy, and it's their romance, so it's pretty taboo, pretty crazy. Those are just 3 of some novellas I'm going to be reading in this video. I do definitely plan on reading a novella every day, so hopefully by the end of this video we'll read 7 novellas. But I'm just gonna keep it real casual and take you guys along with me, so let's go. I don't really do my makeup that much because I work from home most of the time, you know? I do like a little bit of concealer sometimes if I want to feel like fancy. Anyways, did my makeup today and this like blue eyeshadow. This was only $1. This little eyeshadow was $1, and like look how pigmented and pretty it is. And like matches my little shirt setup. Oh, I just had to talk about it. I never talk about makeup on this channel, but I love this freaking color. It's from a website called Shop Miss A, where everything is $1 and they have like a lot of makeup and like accessories and things like that. I get a lot of my brushes from there and they're only $1, but I was like, you know what, let me try this little liner eyeshadow thing, and hello, it's real pretty. It's real pretty, so I just had to share that. Anyways, I'm gonna go take a bubble bath now and read for a little bit because I'm tired. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Happy greetings and salutations, my friends. What accent was that? It is Monday. I'm feeling very tired. What time is it? It's 9:31. And it feels like it's like 1 o'clock in the morning. Wild. What a wild day it's been. I'm here to talk about the novella that I read, and I actually loved this novella, so I'm very pleased that this was the first novella we read for this video. The one that I picked for today is Perfect Matcha by Erin McLennan, I think is how you pronounce her last name. I'm sorry if I mispronounced it. I am really bad at pronouncing names. This is the 3rd book in the Bold Brew series. You definitely don't have to read the series in order because this is a series that all kind of takes place or is in relation to a coffee shop, and each book, each installment is written by a different author. So all of these authors like kind of co-write this series. Anyways, let me talk about this novella that I recently read. It is called Perfect Matcha, and it's a friends to lovers romance, my favorite. I just really love Friends to Lovers, and especially if it's like in a novella, it's just short and sweet and everything I need. This features Theodore and Camden, who have known each other since like the 2nd grade. They're childhood best friends. Camden has always had a crush on Theodore, but he's never wanted to ruin their friendship and doesn't want to ruin him and Theo's friendship, especially because they had another guy that was like in their group of friends, and Theo and that guy dated and had a pretty rough relationship where their friendship suffered because of it. So Camden was like, no, I'm just gonna be his friend, because like not having him in my life is the worst thing possible, which is just so freakingly sweet. What? He basically like has pined after him for the longest time, and I think that's the sweetest thing. I just love Friends to Lovers romances so much. So Theodore ends up getting a wedding invitation for his ex-boyfriend, and he's kind of upset about it, not necessarily because he is still in love with his ex-boyfriend, but because he doesn't have a date to the wedding and he doesn't want to show up without a date. So Camden agrees to set him up with one of his friends so that Theo has a date to the wedding. He was really shy and not really comfortable with starting a new relationship. So Camden, he works at a sex toy store and ends up buying him like all of these toys and gifting it to him so he can have a little bit more confidence. And Theo ends up calling Camden because he doesn't know how to use the toys, and like Camden is like, I got you, and they have like this really steamy fun time over the phone, and they end up like having this relationship, and it is wonderful. As soon as I read it, I ended up texting my friend Desiree from Genki Reader because she really likes male romances, and I was like, hey, this one is such a good one, please read it ASAP. And she said it was cute too, so there you go. Yeah, it's a male Friends to Lovers novella, and I'm gonna give it a 5 stars. I'm just gonna give it a 5 stars because it makes me smile, gives butterflies in my tummy, and is everything that I could ever want. It was fun, it was short, and it was steamy. So that is today's read. Tomorrow we're probably gonna read a Jessica Kane because there's a new Jessica Kane novella that I haven't read yet, so that will be in tomorrow's novella pick, which will just be a few seconds for you guys. So I'll see you in a few seconds. Bye! Of course, my camera is gonna die because I always forget to charge my camera. Guys, if you like Powerade, the pink flavor is the superior flavor. Like, fight me on this. It's the strawberry lemonade flavor, and it is just so good. Hello, it is Tuesday, and it is day 2 of my week of novellas, and I read another really great one, and I'm like, I didn't expect to like start off the week so good, so I'm kind of nervous. Like, hopefully we can just keep this trek going and read a bunch of really good novellas. Okay, so the second novella that I read for the week is Making Their Vows by Jessica Kane. I had to include a Jessica Kane in this video because she is... What you can expect from a Jessica Kane novella is it's going to be campy, it's going to be very steamy, and it's probably going to have some type of taboo element to it, usually a zaddy kink. So just know that going in. But this one, I liked it a lot, guys. I'm going to give it another 5 stars. And I know, like, I really started this week off really good. The last novella I read yesterday was 5 stars, and I'm gonna give this one a 5 stars too. This is a short, steamy novella, and some people don't like rating like steamier books, but for me, I rate books purely on enjoyment. This book follows Grace and North. Grace is like your typical rich kid who always does exactly what she's told, really just wants to impress her parents. And then North is like on the complete opposite side of Boston, and he is a underground fighter. He has had to fight for literally everything in his life. He raises his little sister on his own, and he fights in this underground fighting ring just to make bills, and he comes from a rougher part of town. His friends end up getting drunk and they end up stumbling in this fighting rink, and that is how our characters meet. The instant they meet, there's this instant connection and lust and attraction for each other. Something Jessica Kane does quite well is that like insta love, instant attraction. This is really just opposites attract type of romance. They come from completely different worlds. Her father doesn't approve of their relationship. There's so many things that is preventing them from being together, but they just cannot stay away from each other, and I love that. Even though they come from completely different worlds, they essentially meet up every day and still every moment that they can with each other, and they like play house with each other and like imagine a life of them being married and happy where all of these things don't exist between them. And of course, it's steamy. So our heroine is a virgin, and this does have a daddy kink, so if you're into that or not into that, there you go. The one that I'm going to be reading for tomorrow's novella is His Forever Love by Lucy Darling. I did mention this book in a recent video where I was talking about some books on my TBR. I really adore Lucy Darling's novellas. They're not as steamy as like a Jessica Kane novella, but they're still pretty enjoyable. It's an age gap romance. Our hero is a coach for an NFL team, and our heroine is a freshman in college. So it's pretty forbidden, but I'm excited to read it. That's what we're gonna read. We're gonna read those 2 novellas, and then I will see you guys tomorrow with my ratings. Okay, bye! Greetings and salutations, my dearest friends. I'm sitting on the floor because I didn't want to do my whole setup. Anyways, today is Wednesday. No, it is not. It is Thursday. I didn't film yesterday. My bad. I was gonna film like every single day and give little reviews, but that didn't really work out. So I might end up reading more than 7 novellas because I have so many that I want to read. But today is Thursday and we have hit a decline on the novellas. The one I recently read, I really did not like. I recently read His Forever Love by Lucy Darling. I talked about the synopsis. It's an age gap romance, and I'm just gonna cut to the chase. I gave this novella 1 star. 1 star. It was not my cup of tea. It was not my cup of tea. Like, I really didn't like this novella. It's so tough with novellas. You get 60 to 70 pages, so it either does it or it doesn't do it for you. Like, there's no in between. I did not like this one. Okay, so for starters, this was a spin-off book from another novella that Lucy Darling has. If I would have known that, I probably wouldn't have read it, but regardless of what I didn't like about this book was our characters, and a lot of the friendships were already like pre-developed, so it kind of just assumed you knew what was going on. I felt like things moved really, really fast, and the timeline of what was happening just didn't make a lot of sense. Like, a lot of scenes were fade to black. There wasn't much detail. I know it's a novella, but even still, like, it just wasn't good. Conflict in this book was really just annoying. It was your very typical like misunderstanding and jealous of another woman, and it was so dumb. It was just so dumb. Like, the way the book ended, I was like, really? Like, this very typical villain, a crazy ex-girlfriend who wanted the guy to herself. The guy wasn't really great at communicating. The girl wasn't really great at communicating. The steamy bits weren't that steamy. So really, this novella had nothing going for it, and I'm so sorry for being so brutal. Like, I can't even like give you a positive thing about this book because it just was not... It wasn't good at all. So let's talk about the next 2 novellas that I'm gonna read. I'm gonna try to read 2 today since I didn't film yesterday. And like I said, I have a ton on my TBR. So one that I really want to read is Raising Up Trouble by Jenna Rose. I also think this is a mafia romance, so that's pretty cool. I've never read anything from Jenna Rose, so we will see how it goes. That rhymed. Okay, another one that we're gonna read is by Miss Jessica Kane. When I was looking for novellas to read today, I noticed Jessica Kane came out with a new one, and I have to read it. I have to read anything Jessica Kane comes out with, so I do apologize that I read 2 of her books in this video. Jessica Kane's new novellas, a lot of people have been asking where to start with Jessica Kane, and I definitely recommend her newer releases. Like, those are my favorite. Update for today. This video is probably going to be really long, but I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye. Hello, darlings. I just finished the intro to this video, so if this outfit looks familiar, it's because I just filmed the intro. I always forget to film my intros until like the very end. So anyways, I read 2 novellas and I'm here to update you guys on them. We have hit a very horrific decline in this video. I started off so strong with the first 2 novellas. They were 5 stars, loved them, adored them. And then like, I read some really crappy ones. Let's talk about it. Talk about the Jessica Kane novella. What a wild ride this one was. It's called Daring the Doctor. I don't know about this one. So, how do I say how I felt about this book? This book 2 stars, so clearly I did not like it very much. Already talked about the synopsis. It's an age gap romance. They're instantly attracted to each other. Our heroine is an aspiring medical student, and our hero is like this very well-renowned, accomplished millionaire doctor. okay? He really just wants to provide for her. He wants to be everything for her. He wants to shower her with lavish gifts. He wants to pay all of her student loans. He just really like loves her the second that he sees her, and she's pretty infatuated with him. But I think what I didn't like is that Jessica Kane really does the insta love quite often, and you're gonna see that in Novellas because it's a novella. It's a very short, you know, 60-page novella. I'm all for insta love if both characters are like equally infatuated with each other, and I just felt like the hero really cared more about the heroine. I felt like the heroine was just more standoffish and not really like as invested into the hero as he was with her. So that was one thing I didn't really like. And then the second thing I didn't like was the conflict was just dumb. Like she was so stubborn. I am all here for an independent woman, a hard worker. Yes, totally get that. But like in a novella that's supposed to just be short and quick and steamy, and the guy wants to buy you lavish things, let him buy you lavish things. Like literally the entire conflict of this book was that she was so mad that he wanted to pay her student loans. Like she was furious about it, and she like refused to have a relationship with him. What's weird is she didn't want him to pay her student loans because she felt like she was gonna owe him something, or that it was gonna ruin their relationship. Like years down the road he is gonna feel like she's a gold digger or whatever it was, and she didn't want to ruin their relationship. But then she ended up breaking up with him anyways because he wanted to pay her student loans, so she ruined the relationship anyways, and it just really didn't make any sense. Like I don't know. Like literally 60% of this book was her complaining about him buying her flowers and him wanting to spend money on her, and I was just like, stop it. Stop it. I don't know. I didn't like this heroine. Independence, great, fantastic. I'm so here for that in like real relationships, and that's so great for like a woman to want her own money and pay her own way. Not at all saying like her morals were bad or anything like that, but it just felt like I just couldn't help roll my eyes that that was the conflict of the book, that this hero was handsome and rich and he loved her, and that somehow annoyed her. I read was Raising Up Trouble by Jenna Rose, and again, this was not good for me. I gave it a 1 star. Oh my gosh. It was just too much of that. Too much of the zaddy kink that it made me a little uncomfortable, because he was her guardian and her parents passed away and left her with him when she was 12 or 13. So from 12 all the way to 18, 19, he raised her as his own kid. And then they formed a relationship when she was legal age, I guess. When I'm reading a guardian romance, the hero comes into the heroine's life when they're a little bit older, or they're not really that involved in their life. But this one just felt weird because he like essentially raised her from a very young age, and it kind of felt like what is that word, breeding? Is that what it's called? I can't think of the word right now, but it felt weird. And I really felt like the relationship felt a little bit unbalanced. I felt like our heroine was much more infatuated with our hero than he was with her. The mafia romance really didn't do it for me. I'm starting to think that maybe mafia romances like aren't my personal thing, because the last few that I've read have just kind of been meh. So yeah, everything was kind of just a miss for me. The steamy parts were just okay. Didn't really like the relationship dynamic. I didn't really like the heroine. Didn't care for the hero. So it was a miss, and it was a 1 star, and I'm really bummed. I was gonna stop this video here, but I just feel like what a bummer. So I'm gonna see if maybe I can read 2 more novellas tonight to hopefully like end this on a high note. I don't know what novellas I'm gonna pick. I'm just gonna kind of see what's recommended to me, and hopefully we'll get back on a good track. Hello, my dad and I are going on a daddy-daughter date. We're gonna go see In the Heights and eat some sushi. I'm vlogging.
We're vlogging.
We're vlogging.
I made the vlog?
Yes.
Super cool.
I'm excited to see In the Heights. Do you know anything about it? Have you listened to the soundtrack?
I haven't heard anything other than what's on the preview and what you have mentioned.
Oh, so that's good that you didn't previously listen to the soundtrack.
I have no expectation. I just know you enjoyed it and you wanted to go see it.
Here we go. Hello. Hello. He got a new haircut and he looks so handsome. Yes, you do. You look so handsome. How are you? I've read 3 books since we last chatted. I know I didn't really film any updates, but I was just feeling really bleh. I have to admit. Yeah. I just was feeling really bleh and kind of cranky, which is why I put on like bright yellow eyeshadow and bright yellow shirt to hopefully cheer me right on up. The books I read were actually really, really good, which I'll talk about in a second. We had 2 4-stars and 1 5-star. It's so random, but my birthday is around the corner. By the time you guys are watching this, my birthday would have been over probably because I haven't even started editing this video. But I don't know what it is about my birthday, but I don't like it, like, at all. I don't like when people, you know, sing happy birthday to me or, like, get me presents. It makes me feel extremely, extremely awkward. And instead of, like, feeling like, oh, I'm gonna, like, celebrate and, like, eat cake and, you know, like a normal person on their birthday, instead, I like have a midlife crisis every single year and I'm like, what have I done with my life? What did I accomplish in the past year? And I'm just like super, super hard on myself every, it's like I don't know how to explain it. Basically, I like see each year that passes and instead of like celebrating it, I'm like, what have I done with my time? How am I helping the world? External life crisis. Okay. Nobody cares about that, but that's why I didn't update you guys while I was reading the books. But thankfully I actually read some kick-ass books, so let's talk about them. This was kind of like a monster vibe because I read 2 monster romances. The first one is Girls Weekend by C.M. Nascosta. I don't know how to pronounce that last name. I'm very, very sorry. The story is a novella, obviously, and it's told in 3 different point of views, which I actually really, really liked. We follow 3 elves who are all co-workers, and they're all kind of like stressed out from their daily work life, like me. And they decide that they're going to go on a girls' trip to this resort that is very well known for like nudist open beaches and like very sexy times, and like the main attraction is like these sexy orcs, which I have been told is kind of like an ogre, which doesn't seem very sexy, but it was in this book. And like they're, you know, just nude on the beach having a good time, and they all go. Love this book. Super sex positive, number 1. Number 2, I mean, I loved reading about like elves and fairies and orcs, and like I was just really into like that vibe. This is described as like a fun spring break monster edition. I would have given this a 5 stars, and the reason I'm giving it a 4 stars is because it left kind of on a cliffhanger. Like, you didn't really get a resolution for all 3 girls. Like, one girl kind of got her happy ending, and then the other 2, it was just left up in the air because there is supposed to be a part 2 to this novella this summer, the author said at the end of the book. I don't know if that's still like the release date or what, but I was really, really bummed. Like, when it comes to novellas, that's one of my pet peeves, is that there's another book after it, because I'm reading a short story to get like a very satisfying happy ending. What I was going to say was that I really did enjoy the book, but I really would have preferred like it to be one big novel instead of broken up novellas. That's like a personal preference thing. I wanted a satisfying happy ending. I'm not a fan of cliffhangers. Not a fan of cliffhangers. What I read is His Beauty by Jack Harvin, and so many people love this book, so I had to check it out. It's a modern day Beauty and the Beast retelling, and it was pretty good. I gave it 4 stars. Book follows the Beauty and the Beast story pretty scene by scene, but it's just a modern retelling. What I really liked about this story is that the Beast stays the Beast the entire time. The entire time, even during the steamy bits. Yes. Yes, I told you, it's kind of like a monster romance weekend with me and the books that I was reading. So I really liked how it was that the Beast was learning to love and love himself, but he didn't really change at the end, like appearance wise, and our heroine just loved him for that. That it followed the Beauty and the Beast story like scene by scene, but just make Belle a little bit more independent and badass. Like, she is saving herself and fighting for herself right along with the Beast. She even saves him at one point, and she's really independent and sex positive and just wonderful. So yeah, I gave it a 4 stars. The only reason I didn't give it like a 5 stars was ultimately because I felt like the ending just felt really rushed, and there was like a lot focused on like this one climatic scene, and it was just like a lot of violence and like action fighting scenes that I'm just like not really interested. I kind of wanted more like romance, so that's why I gave it a 4 stars. But it was a fantastic novella. One of my favorite Beauty and the Beast retellings. Beauty and the Beast vibes. I then read another Beauty and the Beast retelling called Briar. What's funny is I actually started reading this novella like last November for a book club, and I just, at the time I was going through a reading slump and didn't finish it, so I picked it back up because I was in the mood for a Beauty and the Beast retelling. And this is a male-male romance set in World War II. Our hero works in this town during World War II, and every time that he travels, he always comes back and brings his daughter a rose. His daughter is an adult at this point, but he always brings her a rose so that she can remember it and know that he came back to her safe. So on his recent trip, he is coming home and he sees this big, like almost abandoned mansion with beautiful roses, and he's like, you know what, they're not gonna miss these, let me just snip, take some of these roses and go. Well, of course, our beast sees him and is like, you're a thief, you're gonna have to pay for what you took, and because I'm cursed, you're gonna need to help me break this curse, and I'm gonna need your daughter. And I love this part of the book because our hero was like, yeah, you're crazy, I'm not trading my daughter in because I stole some roses. So there you go, you can have me if you want someone, but you're not getting my daughter. And I just love like that turn of events. So he ends up living with the beast and developing a friendship with him and discovering the curse. Really interesting twist on Beauty and the Beast. I loved that it was a male-male romance set in World War II. There's so many layers to this novella. It is honestly like one of the most beautiful books. Like, I loved the relationship that these men had. I loved the friendship, the romance. I loved how kind our hero was, like the love he had for his daughter, and how he just really wanted to help these people break the curse. Like, everything about it was just so beautifully told. There was something very magical and just effortless about this book. It's a little bit of a longer novella, but I read it so quickly, and I'm really glad that I picked this novella up because I feel like I read it at the perfect time and I was really able to enjoy it. Like, this author's writing was very lyrical and beautiful, and I loved it. Like, comparing the two Beauty and the Beast books that I read, like retelling books, his Beauty and Briar, it's like comparing apples and oranges. They felt so different. Like, to me, his Beast was all about like our independent Belle being the hero of her own story and writing her own life and choosing her own things, and that she was just as strong as our hero was, and just as fierce, and she didn't need anyone to protect her, and I loved that. And then Briar was just like this beautiful slow burn of a well thought out romance and friendship and just like love story. So that's it. That's what we read. Quickly wrap up all the books we read. Okay, so we read Perfect Matcha by Erin McLennan. This is the 3rd book in the Bold Brew series. It's a friends to lovers romance, and I gave this 5 stars. This is kind of the kind of book that gives me like those little butterflies, and I just love so much. Probably one of my favorite reads of this entire week. And we read Making Their Vows by Jessica Kane, which was another one of my favorites. I gave it 5 stars. It was the opposites attract romance. Girl came from like a high posh area. Boy was on the wrong side of the tracks, who did like underground boxing and fighting. Has a little bit of a zaddy kink. I freaking loved it. And then we reached the low point of the week. So we have His Forever Love by Lucy Darling, which I gave 1 star. Didn't like at all. It was another age gap romance, and yeah, it wasn't good. You can go ahead and skip this one. After that, we read Raising Up Trouble by Jenna Rose, which was a mafia age gap romance. We read a lot of age gap romances this week. Didn't like this one either. Not a fan. Kind of felt like a breeding situation. I don't know. Earlier in the week, I don't know if I said I gave this 2 stars or 1 stars, but like my ultimate is I just gave it 1 star. I did not like this book. Is Daring the Doctor by Jessica Kane, and unfortunately this was not one of my favorite Jessica Kane novellas. I would definitely like rate it on the lower spectrum of her books. It wasn't my vibe. It wasn't my vibe. I didn't like it. We read Girls Weekend by C.M. Niscata. I gave that 4.5 stars. I'm really excited for the sequel to this novella. We read His Beauty by Jack Harvin. 4 stars. A Beauty and the Beast retelling. That was really, really good. And then lastly, we read Briar, which was so beautiful and wonderful. 4.5 stars. Wrap that up real quick. Didn't want to take too long. So sorry. If I had to recommend my top 3 favorites, I would definitely say Perfect Matcha was maybe like my all-time favorite because I'm a sucker for Friends to Lovers. Then I adored Making Their Vows by Jessica Cain. That might be like my favorite, if not definitely in the top 3 favorite Jessica Cains that I've read. And then Girls Weekend by C.M. Niscata. Like, that one was a super duper surprise. Like, I didn't expect to love it as much as I did. Be a series on my channel where I pick a subgenre and read a bunch of the books that are available on Kindle Unlimited. I've already done one for historical romances, which I will link down below. My next one is either going to be fantasy romances or cozy mysteries, because I haven't really read any cozy mysteries recently on my channel. So let me know which one you want to see. Fantasy romance or cozy mysteries on Kindle Unlimited. Let me know and I will do whichever one you choose. Okay, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to spend time with me. It means the world to me. I hope you guys are all staying happy and healthy, and I'll see you next time. Bye!